Welcome back to Gorgeous Gardens of Utah, everyone. It's been a while. I'm not dead. I've just been busy. Starting off with the peppers and peaches. In the front here, we have a bunch of pit-grown peaches. This is, so far, this year's growth. These are from my O. Henry crossed with a sweet cap. And then some miscellaneous ones that I got off the ground at work. These ones are either peaches or nectarines, one or the other. Over here we have another fig, some pink lady apples that I got from work, so they are not pollinated with crab apples like the store-bought ones are, as well as North Pole apples, a columnar apple that was pollinated also by stuff at work. And then we have a flowering jujube. Can't wait to try that. Supposedly it tastes like caramel. But these ones are definitely the Sweet Henrys. And then we have the peppers in double buckets. That's all of these guys right over here. I'll do those in a little more detail in a bit. Over here we have the aphid farm, otherwise known as the zucchini and what's left of the yellow crookneck. Over here we have another peach or nectarine and some of my other stuff, a seed-grown apple, seed-grown apple, seed-grown apple. This is last year's peach tree that I found on the ground at work. So that is about 2 years, and I just barely went through and trimmed off all of those branches. Here's another of the nectarine or peach, and yet another nectarine or peach. There are 3 of those. And then we had an apricot. Here's another one of my seed-grown apples that's about 4 years old. These seed-grown apples are either pink ladies or green dragons. Here's another seed-grown apple. And then we have the seedless Concord grape cuttings. Those were cuttings last year. There's a ruby in here somewhere, and an autumn royal as well. But other than that, they're all seedless Concord cuttings. We have some rhubarb, and then more grapes. These ones are cuttings from my consort black currant, which is this guy right here. And you can see we had a bunch of fungus blow through here, along with the sun scald and the spider mites and the aphids and anything else that hit this year because we didn't really have a winter. Here's the white clematis. Here's the purple clematis. And then the raspberries that I dug out of the front yard. 3 of them are from my mother-in-law's front yard, so they're probably heritage. And then we have a tulamine, a crimson night, and a kokanee, along with one of these somewhere is a fall gold. And then the blackberries. One's a Navajo, one's triple crown, and this one is black satin. So I've just cut those guys back. This guy, even though it's ripe, it has more of a grapefruit taste to it. So yeah, very sour, not very sweet this year. But anyway, and of course my fruit trees. There is the Gala in the corner. Here is the green gauge plum and some type of apricot, and the elderberry. Behind it is the cherry, we think is a Queen Anne. Here's a jostaberry, cross between a black currant and a gooseberry. Otherwise, this is the rose row. So we have there's an Arizona that has not broken dormancy. Here's a Dr. Huey rootstock. Here is something. It was a cutting at one point. And a salmon colored now, but it was much deeper red earlier. This is a hot cocoa, Vavoom, a la Twitter, oranges and lemons, two sunbursts. This one is October, that was a cutting as well. We have At Last, Mandarin Sunblaze, Chris Everett just got done flowering, Over the Moon, which is just barely starting to flower again, and then one of the front yard lavenders that I pulled out. And then over here we have a whole bunch of tomatoes. So I've got, see, that was supposed to be a 10 fingers of Naples, but it looks more like a Berkeley tie-dye. Azoichka, Roma, Big Rainbow, all in rapid succession here, all in the double buckets. So far that I have not gotten curly top. That's been killing off a lot of stuff this year. Here's the tansy. Here is a mystery fig. Here's another mystery fig. This one's a brown turkey. Here's rice. Seeds were from 2011. Comfrey. There's the melons box. There's vine peach and Tigger melon and something else I can never remember. And here's some more tomatoes. We've got a green emerald, Big Rainbow, Tony paste, another Tony paste, another Azorchka, and another Big Rainbow. Here's another lavender. That one was seed grown a couple years ago. And another fig, and another fig, and another fig. And this one's a chocolate habanero pepper. And then we have the Big Rainbow box. All four of these are all Big Rainbow. And then we have a whole bunch more tomatoes here. We have more tomatoes this year than we do peppers, surprisingly. So, chocolate stripe right there. Costaludo, another Costaludo, another Azorchka, another Big Rainbow. Here's the regular Berkeley tie-dye, and a green emerald, although it's ripening red, so it's probably not green emerald. And another lavender from the front yard that I pulled out, San Marzano, chocolate stripe, and then 10 fingers of Naples box right here. All four of those are 10 fingers of Naples. Bartlett. I got the sun in the way. Bartlett pear right here. I've got a Jonna Gold apple right here. And a Bosque pear right here. And then the Sun Sugar and Sun Gold tomatoes in the big containers. That one's actually a 10, that one's a number 15. And my pollinators over here, we have purple echinacea, another purple echinacea, orange echinacea, some kind of lamb's ear, not the really fuzzy one though. Here's a dianthus, and my summer carnival hardy hibiscus, and a whole bunch of kiwis. Most of these are Ken's Red, Arguta, and I've got a meter in there and a seed grown Arguta along with the Deliciosa that died down to the roots last year. We have a wild Mikey blazing in the shade here. This big long viney thing is a sweet meat pumpkin. Got one growing right there. That one's supposed to be the best for pumpkin pie making. Here's some more peppers that I will get to in a bit. Here's a Stanley prune plum tree. That was a Satsuma. Here's our Armenian cucumbers going crazy. Then we got beans off to the side here, a bunch of dill. Oh look, we have an Armenian ready to pick. It's a baby compared to what I just pulled out. Add that to the pile. There's the other two I pulled an hour ago. I've got an Evelyn over here, along with some cuttings of Costa Ludo and Roma, I think it was. And this is literally just in water. And lots of roots in there, but no fertilizer, just water. Here's my seeds from 2011. That's a Grandpa Ott and Heavenly Blue Morning Glory. Over in this box we have a few more tomatoes, something I've already said. I don't remember what they are, but they're one of the ones I've already said. And then we have nasturtium. And then here's the rest of the stuff that never actually got upsized yet. We have some pistachios and some wilty peppers, shishito and Anaheim, and Hungarian black F4s, I believe, so they're F4 or F3. Some more dianthus, and then some kind of desert succulent-y thing that just keeps popping up everywhere, but I like it so I don't take it out. Some oak grown from acorns, Lisianthus pink, Lisianthus purple, and there's the only seed of rose that I've actually gotten to grow. That's a Rainbow Happy Trails next generation. And then we have a Cana lily. This is a Cleopatra. And the grapes are growing crazy this year. We've got the Concord and seedless Concord, and then the Himrod and Canadus. Canadus is actually alive this year. Over here we have more tomatoes, some type of basil, and then let's see, we've got another echinacea. This one's supposed to be Sunseeker pumpkin pie, although it's looking like the apple one. We have a oregano that is on its way out, a sage, rosemary. No, this is a horehound. Second year horehound. Here's the rosemary. And here was a double scoop watermelon deluxe that apparently didn't want to live. And then we're back over here to the aphid farm. We have sweet potato and sweet marjoram over in this container. Here's a artemisia. That's the wormwood anti-wasp plant. And some more sweet potatoes right there. And over here through the grape cave, we have the Korean maple. Originally got that way back in like 2009. Have a bunch of fruit trees in containers right here and over there. So we have a red Macintosh apple, summer crisp pear, Polly white peach, Red Haven peach, something untagged, but it's a white variety, I know that. Pink lady apple, Arctic rose nectarine, and honey crisp apple. And then here's my honeyberries. These three right here are berry blue, and this one is the yesberry. Here's a hazelnut, and then three more roses. This one is a sun sugar, loves me not, and over there is a flavorette paired. And then over here we have the azalea that's been around also since like 2012. Fungus is really loving that. And then some number 10 tomatoes, green emerald right there. A not 10 fingers of Naples, big rainbow, and a Roma. And then over here we have the blueberry that is still technically alive. That's a pink lemonade. And the apricot that was featured in a pruning video way back in the early days of the channel. It is taking over. I've cut it way back, and I'll start weeping it now. Hopefully that works. Otherwise I'll just cut it out and probably use it as a rootstock. And then there's the mother tree for the peaches right there in the corner. The F1 O. Henry crossed with a sweet cap. And that is the backyard jungle. All right, now out to the front yard. We have what's left of the snowbank white blackberry, along with a really sprawly boysenberry. And then peppermint. Yes, I did put it in the ground. I do want it to take over. Joan J. raspberry, along with a fall gold that is more dead than alive. Here's the strawberry patch with the annoyingly ever-present borage, which I've decided I really don't like. All of this is going to get redone at some point, along with the path that is perpetually full of weeds. Here's the Arkansas black apple and the fern bush. And I took out all of the blue fescues and I've replaced them mostly with dianthus. I have this echinacea here. And then my annual patch, which is a conglomeration of moss rose, volunteer marigolds. All of these marigolds are from not last year but the year before, and they're all volunteers. I did not plant any of them. Verbena, some calibricoas, a bunch of coleus, and dahlias. And there's some type of sage in the corner. Here's box number 1 with rosemary, sage, lemon balm, yarrow, pink lavender, monarda. And there's something else in there, or it died. And box number 2, we have yarrow, helichrysum, yarrow, echinacea, wormwood, penstemon. Already cut back this monarda. It was the same color as this one. And then the pink monarda here. And then we still have all of the lavender. The phenomenals are the big ones, and the blue cushions are the nearly invisible small guys in there. If you haven't seen any bees around, it's because they are all in my front yard. Here's my ever so massive desert 4 o'clock. Here's the other summer carnival hardy hibiscus. And then the Carmine Jewel and Juliet cherry bushes. Some succulents that I planted. So yeah, that is the front yard there. All right, let's get to the important part, the peppers. I did an experiment this year. These ones are all in slotted containers. These are number 10s right here. There's a few of them. As you can see, it does get a little bit too much airflow, but I wanted to see if you could get bigger plants with more airflow to the roots. All right, this guy is Boogers. This is a super hot from Alex over at Exotic Hot Peppers. This one is a Peppa Peach Stripey. You can tell it's in the Bacatum family with the telltale flowers there. This one here is a Sunrise Scorpion. It's supposed to be a mild to very sweet, and the fruit points upwards, hence the name Sunrise. This is a triple threat. This is a Pimenta Donata crossed with a French name habanero, Bond Majoc or Bond Majox. I think that's how you say it. We have a moringa that loses its leaves due to fungus and then regrows them in the summer. This one was planted in 2012. We have a Chicago Hardy fig right here. This one is a 7-pot Primo crossed with an Ahi lemon drop. And it is very small. Hey, there's Mikey again. All right, here's my Hungarian Ghost. That's a Hungarian Black crossed with a Red Ghost. This is F4. And it seems like all but one of my F4 plants are reverting back to this regular Hungarian Black look with very slight dimpling like the Ghost. So, I mean, it is F4. So there are 5 plants of that in this number 15 container. Probably sauce all of those. I don't like that phenotype. Unless it's really, really hot. Then I'll probably save the seeds. There's another fig. That one's another, let's see, that one's a Desert King. There's another Chicago Hardy. This one is a cross between a purple UFO and a corked jalapeno. You can see the corking starting to form on that. So that's a hybrid that I made in 2021. If you go back and see some of those old videos, quite prolific plant there. And then this one is a White Lightning. I can't remember where I got the seeds from. I think it was Townsend. Anyway, all right, then these guys, you can see we have they're in a slotted number 2. Hungarian Ghost F4 again. That guy is not putting out anything yet, but it does have a bunch of flowers on it. This is the slotted one here, and that's the smooth. Okay, so far you can see on the right side we have the slotted, on the left side is the regular. So slotted is slightly smaller than the regular. I'm sure if I had the water running 24/7 it might be a different story, but from what I see, slotted is not better, at least for these smalls. So here, yep, here's the Hungarian Ghost F4. Still looks like normal, like that's even a more normal Hungarian black. They are starting to turn color. Should we do a sample? Okay, this is supposed to be hot like a cayenne. It's sweet. Sweet and kind of tangy. I did not hit any seeds yet. Oh gosh. I can feel that's gonna be hot. All right, yeah, let's save the seeds on that one. This is Cremo, 7-pop Cremo crossed with a white carbonara, something like that. Here's the Peppa Peach, stripy. Slotted, and this is regular. Starting to come out on it. A pink habanero. That one's supposed to be a heatless habanero. Got a small pod in that one. Don't see anything on that guy. All right. This one's probably a Sweet Knot. Yep, Sweet Knot F4. That's a cross between the mini sweet from Costco and the Hungarian black. And the seed that this one came from was absolutely heatless. So let's give this a try. Has that good sweet, mini sweet flavor. Has a little bit of the Hungarian black flavor in there too. Aha, no heat. A success. And then this guy, same one. Nothing ripe yet. Let me see. Little Mickey Betty. Alright, and then this one is the Ghost crossed with a Sugar Rush Peach. Probably got those seeds. It's either white hot peppers or Texas hot peppers is where I got those ones from. Some pods on that one. And back to the white lightning. All right, over to the double buckets over there. All right, here we are at the double buckets. A bunch of these are my hybrids / miscellaneous other ones. Onyx. Here's the onyx, pretty kitty. Patrolling. All right, so here we have 4 Peters. At least that was the seed that I thought I was planting. As you can see, it looks nothing like a Peter. That one doesn't have any pods on it. This one has some elongated pods, with, like the end is trying to be Peter. But for the most part, it looks nothing like Peter. So there's a disappointment there. Debating whether to cull those, not sure yet. We have 2 habaneras. The heatless habanero. Got a pod there. All right, these 4 right here are the long sweet crossed with the Hungarian black. This is the F2 generation. Tried this one the other day. This one has medium heat. Nothing ripe yet on this one, although it does have a pod. And there are a lot of pods on that one. And this one is just barely starting to form, but it's starting to get sun scald, so. Here's a spaghetti. It's a really long cayenne type. All right, Roxa crossed with the Pimenta Donata. Here's the pod look on that one. Pretty cool. Can't wait for that to ripen up. Here's another Boogers. I don't see any pods on that guy yet. Here's 4 more UFO crossed with corked jalapeno. And you can see the corking is starting to form. Corking on that one. These are all F2. So there's those. Here's Peppa Peach Stripey. This is my token miscellaneous, who knows what it is. Based on the pods, it's looking like a Hungarian Ghost F4. Oh look, we have a ripe pod. Give that a try. It's either a Hungarian black, which I don't recall actually growing straight Hungarian blacks. You can see there it's kind of a deep maroon. Really pretty looking one. Okay. There's definitely some heat there. What are you, floral? And there we go, drop it. Oh, that's hot. I'll be seeing me puke if I keep eating that one. All right, to the inside track here. Here's the sweet knots. F4, sweet knot, F4. Hungarian Ghost F3. Now this is the typical Hungarian Ghost pheno that I am used to. Looks like a ghost with the Hungarian black genetics in it, with the green leaves and the purple stems. Another one right here with some slightly unripe pods. Who do we got? Oh, that's Onyx. Okay. All right, Rhino DD from Diego Drax. This is the last seed that I have from him, and it is good that I have some pods coming. On the other side, we have a straight up Pimenta Donita. I don't see any pods on that guy yet. All right, this one is a Trinidad Moruga Scorpion. I don't see, oh, hello, snail. I don't see any pods forming on that one yet. This one and this one are both Ethiopian brown. And this one does have some pods going on it, as well as this one. And here's one that came off the other day from the sun scald, but it has a deep, dark chocolate look to it. Habanero level heat on that guy. Here's the UFO corked. And then here is a Pimenta Donita crossed with an unknown red super hot. Don't know if they are calling that the red ghost that, but unknown red super hot. So it looks kind of like a regular Pimenta Donita with some wrinkling. Then this one's Heatless 7-Pot Primo. And it's got that Primo look to it. Can't wait to try that, even though it's supposed to be more like a jalapeno level heat. And then this pepper is a Pimenta Donita crossed with a hybrid between the Scotch Bonnet and the 7-Pot Jonah. Got this growing in a 50-gallon barrel. All right, that is it for the peppers. All right, here's my sprinkler system this year. We have this line that runs off to that way. This line runs off to the hose. We got a new deck this year, and this Costco shade structure thingy. We had to move the spigot, so it is now by the corner. And this runs over to there, hooks into a PVC line that is essentially just a T with a valve, and then that runs to the drip lines. And the drip lines go, this one snakes all the way around and back to here. And all it is the 1/2-inch black line. And then we have the 1/8 inch spaghetti line with the spot spitter system. We use this at work, and I liked it so much that I'm using it here this year. So this line, you can see, runs all the way to the end there, corners, then it keeps going. Comes over here, past the goji that won't die. We have one right here by the apricot, and this one goes over, and this one feeds, so I have it on a circuit. So this whole row here and this whole row here, so the apples and the raspberries essentially are on this line here. This one over here right underneath the elderberry there. This one feeds the rose line and tomato and melons box. This guy right here by the cherry tree. This one does this tomato box and this tomato box, and everything around it. Oh, Rambo's not here. This is where Rambo likes to hide. And then this guy right here does the kiwi and the sweetmeat, as well as the last tomato box. Don't have these guys on anything yet. Here's the drain that you saw a video made of, and it is empty at the moment. runs down over here. You can see this line running. It connects all of the experimental peppers and the figs over here. It runs on to that line, and then you can see it keeps going down to the corner, and it has a valve there which connects it up to this spigot here. So I can run both spigots at the same time for maximum pressure. And then that line there runs off to the porch. This one runs to the front yard. So this line does the blueberry and then the porch stuff. So all the fruit trees, the roses, the honeyberries. And I have those on their own valves right there. So when it runs the porch, it takes all the pressure from the boxes. Then I just turn the porch off and the pressure goes to the boxes. So that does the cucumbers and these tomatoes. Goes under the porch, does these tomatoes. Technically it does this, but I don't have any outlets for it at the moment. So yeah. Say goodbye, Mikey. Thanks for watching. Meow.